Everybody, what's up? Adam from Jamsville here, and today's video is going to be super duper important. We're going to be talking about how to hear minor scales and hear in minor keys. If you know how to play a scale, but you don't really know what it actually sounds like in your head without the guitar, then it's not going to be anywhere near as useful to you as it could be. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so those of you familiar with the major scale solfege system should know that you can sing through a major scale like this. Do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So what we're going to be doing is learning a solfege system to be able to sing through minor scales, thinking of the minor one and modifying the major scale accordingly. So with that being said, we're going to take the major scale solfege that we already know, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and we are going to slightly modify it to conform to the minor scale. So we're going to start with actually the most different one from the major scale, which is natural minor. Now you notice we have some different solfege syllables there, and the ones that are different are marked as bold and underlined. So instead of mi, which is the third in the major scale, we're going to have a flat 3. So those of you familiar with the minor scale formulas, the natural minor scale has a flat 3, flat 6, and flat 7. So instead of mi, we're going to sing ma. So we have to start memorizing the sound of actually just those first 3 notes of the minor scale. Do, re, mi. And by the way, once we're done going over the syllables, we are going to learn how to play my guitar as well, so don't worry about that. So this is like the beginning of a minor scale. Do, re, mi. The first 3 notes. And then we're going to have fa, sol, which are the exact same thing actually as in major. And then we're going to have la, te, do. So those are different. Instead of la, we have le, which is the lower version of la. La flattened by a half step. And then instead of ti, we lower to te. So you notice there's kind of a pattern here. Instead of the normal syllable that we have, we just add eh at the end. Okay, so instead of mi, we have me, instead of la, we have le, and instead of ti, we have te. And now we have to just start getting the sound of that in our head. So, of course, the number one way to do that is go ahead and play through it on the guitar and just practice singing it over and over. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, te, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then try to sing it by yourself. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, te, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now, of course we're singing here, but you don't have to sound like Freddie Mercury or anything. That is not the point of this. The point is just to be reasonably accurate with your pitch so that when you're playing in minor keys, you can actually hear the things that you want to play. And of course, also, if you're learning songs that are in minor, you can hear the different intervals and notes that are going on so that you can learn things by ear and so on and so forth. So also, once you get a little bit more experience, you can try to improvise a little bit around with it. Now you have this kind of little instrument in your head. You could go do, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, sol, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, right? Getting familiar with the sound of that natural minor, getting familiar with the sound of that flat 6 and how it's different, and the flat 7 and the flat 3, okay? So now we're gonna move on to harmonic minor. The cool thing is actually it's gonna get, in a way, a little bit easier as we go through this, because harmonic minor is actually one step closer to a major scale, because now instead of le and te, we only have le, and then we have ti, which is actually from the major scale. It's that major 7th. Of course, by the way, the great thing about training your ears like this is you actually get a better understanding of the actual theory behind this stuff. You know, the theory is useless if you don't know what the sound is, okay? So now with harmonic minor, we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, fa, mi, re, do. Now that's such a cool sound. La, ti, do. That's a very sort of the exotic sound of that harmonic minor scale. And then we can see exactly why. It's because we have that jump from the flat 6, la, to ti, do. And then even going from sol, sol, la, ti, do, sol, la, ti, do. That's where the crux of that harmonic minor sound is. So make sure you get that sound in your head because, of course, that comes up a lot. I've done lessons before on harmonic minor. You should check those out on the channel. And then now we're going to check out melodic minor, which is actually even easier. If I go back to the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it's exactly the same as the major scale. However, it just has a flat 3. It has the natural 6, it has the natural 7, la, ti, do. So all I need to do is get through meh, and then everything else is going to be exactly the same as a major scale. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's your melodic minor sound. That's more of a sort of jazzy type of sound, but you do see it in lots of different pop songs, rock songs. So just right off the top of my head, the song Yesterday by the Beatles uses that scale in the melody that Paul McCartney is singing. And then finally, the guitarist's favorite scale in the whole entire world, the minor pentatonic scale. Most of you probably know the minor pentatonic scale, but if I asked you to sing a minor pentatonic scale, you might not be able to do it. Well, guess what? After today, you will now be able to do it, and people will be very impressed when you can do it. So, if you know how to sing the natural minor scale, that's actually kind of the important part to getting the minor pentatonic because it's the same thing as the natural minor scale, but you subtract the 2 and you subtract the flat 6. So now we're left with do, mi, fa, sol, te, do. So we have do, mi, fa, sol, te, do, te, sol, fa, mi, do. Do, mi, fa, sol, te, do, te, sol, fa, mi, do. That's your minor pentatonic scale. So that's a cool thing, by the way. If you just play like a minor bar chord, I'm playing in the key of C minor, by the way. It's good for my voice. You might want to pick a different key to practice this stuff in because it fits your voice better. Some people I teach this to, they like to practice it in D instead if they have a little bit of higher voice, or if they have a lower voice, B flat or A, something like that is more suitable. So do, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, sol, fa, mi, do, te, do, te, sol, do, te, sol, te, do. Try improvising around with each of these sounds. Try it with harmonic minor. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, ti, sol, do, ti, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. You can try singing below your do, depending on, again, how you're feeling with the range of your singing. So, sing through these a lot. It's the exact same thing, guys, as memorizing the major scale. So the way that you memorized singing through the major scale, if you would have started with the minor scales instead, then these would be easier than the major scale. So if you're kind of feeling a little bit uncomfortable with it, it's just less familiarity. So just go ahead and sing through it more. And we will start to wrap up here by looking at some scale patterns so that you can play along and assist your hearing while you're trying to sing through these things. Okay, so now on the screen we have diagrams for each of these scales with the solfege listed out. So these are just some basic scale patterns here, only one octave. We're not getting crazy, playing them all over the neck, all over every single key, every single position. We want to keep things simple. We're just trying to hear stuff, okay? And once we can hear it, then it'll translate over when you go ahead and practice these scales and you take the Jamsville GPS Fretboard Fundamentals course, link in the description description below so that you can learn how to actually play them all over the neck, but I digress. So let's check these out. So you got the major scale, obviously the one we talked about, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and no notes or anything like that. We got the solfege labels on there, so I hope that's helpful for you guys. Oh, by the way, if you want to download this document for free, just click the link in the description below as well, and I'll send that right over to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and play through natural minor. So you got here, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, te, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then, of course, you can see, now we'll go to harmonic minor. You see how tag goes up a half step to T. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then now we're going to go to melodic minor. So we're going to go, la is going to go back up to la. See how it's exactly in the same place where la was in the major scale. So we're going to play through that one. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then finally, here's our 1 octave minor pentatonic scale. Do, mi, fa, sol, te, do, te, sol, fa, mi, do. So if you want to learn how to play these scales all over the whole entire neck in any single key and be able to find them instantly everywhere, then make sure you head on over to jamsville.com and start taking the Jamsville GPS fretboard fundamentals course. You will be able to master the fretboard and combine that with your awesome ears that you'll have after practicing the stuff that I covered in this video. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, listen, learn, and jam.